In 1951, a German engineer by the name of Felix Wankel developed a new kind of internal combustion engine that instead of using a piston, it uses a triangular rotor. This is the Wankel engine.
But of course, why wouldn't he baptize the engine after himself? Intexa engine. I like it.
The Wankel engine, apart from being really cool, is also more powerful than a piston engine with the same displacement. Also, it skips the whole thing of the explosion pushes the piston that pushes the wheel that pushes the car, because the motion coming out from the Wankel engine is already rotational.
The Wankel engine has earned this place on the history books and amongst other internal combustion engines, but today I want to use it for another application.
A while ago I saw a video from Tom Stanton in which he 3D printed a working piston engine that runs on compressed air.
3D printing piston engines tends to be complicated, all the valves and moving components. So I thought to myself, well, Wankel engines tend to be more powerful and less complicated anyway, why not give it a try?
And try I did. But because I had no idea where to start, I searched on YouTube to see if anyone thought of this before. And someone did. Andrew from the 3D Printed Life YouTube channel. He 3D printed a Wankel engine using his FDM 3D printer. His engine worked pretty well, but he thought it was possible to do better.
The main problem I was running into a lot was just sealing this rotor. With FDM, it just wasn't smooth enough. But with SLA, or with resin, I think you could probably get away with that.
Well, I have SLA 3D printers. Let's start designing.
Okay, younger self, let me stop you right there. Designing a Wankel engine is not that easy. You see, for the engine to work properly, you need to be able to draw this special casing that allows the rotor to rotate smoothly without ever breaking contact with the wall. That is achieved by drawing an epitrochoid curve that results from rolling a small circle on top of a bigger circle. And I know this seems simple and intuitive at first, but it's not. To draw one of these fancy curves, you kind of need to use these parametric equations. And also, you need a 3D modeling software that likes parametric equations, like SolidWorks. SolidWorks is a parametric 3D modeling software that I've been using since college. It's cool because you can use the version on the 3D Experience platform, which also has other softwares like X-Shape for organic 3D modeling. This platform has tools for all sorts of 3D modeling, physical simulation, manufacturing, and business applications, all in one space in the cloud. Later this year, SolidWorks is gonna make the design software you see on this video, in addition to much more, available to hobbyists and makers for the price of $9.99 a month. If you would like to be notified when this is available, check out the link in the description below. It's like Netflix for makers. Anyway, I plugged the equations into SolidWorks and I got this fat peanut shape. After giving it some thickness, I used some pre-made gears from SolidWorks Toolbox and ta-da! A Wankel engine.
Well, let's print it and see if it works.
Why you do this to me? Oh, I have the red one. As you might have noticed, I left some slots on the tip of the rotor to place the sealing elements. These engines are notorious for leaking, so I needed a good solution. Andrew from the 3D Printed Life channel used rubber that in fact seals well, but also adds a lot of friction. I decided to go with graphite, more specifically graphite rods used in pencils.
You see, graphite is a great solid lubricant, which means that if things go according to plan, they will not only seal the engine, but also lubricate it. Okay, so the engine is assembled, and I think it's spinning pretty freely actually, but I'm curious to see if it's gonna do something with compressed air, so I'm gonna test it. Okay, moment of truth. Oh, it's actually moving. The engine, like the main shaft, is oscillating a little bit, and I think it's because lack of tolerances in the supports for the bearings and especially the lid. Yeah, I need to redesign this. Let's get back to SolidWorks.
So I got back to SolidWorks and I adjusted some dimensions to get rid of the oscillations. I also made some design changes and printed some parts in a different orientation. After they were done, I assembled the engine.
Okay, so the version 2 is finished. I think it's much better. Like, I feel no resistance. I'm gonna try it with air to see if I still have vibrations and if it's working properly. So I let the compressor charge again, and I regulated the pressure for only 5 psi, which I don't know how much it is in bars. It actually sounds like an internal combustion engine. Only 5 psi. It still runs. How cool is that?
So, I used my slow motion camera and measured 768 rotations per minute at 5 psi and 5,120 rotations per minute at 90 psi.
So it's a tradition here on the channel that every single time that I build a compressed air engine, I test it with my lungs. So let's give it a try. Whew, I'm not getting a lot of movement. Why is that? I'm pretty sure I can produce 5 psi of pressure. This is weird. So if I try to blow into it, it gets stuck and it doesn't move. I don't know why. It doesn't work. Oh my god, I'm about to faint. Anyway, if I try with the compressor, always works. Even if I go really slow, look. I'm not even applying 5 psi right now. I'm applying like 3 psi. I don't know. I'm not going full power here.
So after this I quickly found out the problem was the very small diameter of the adapter that I was using, which tells me the inlet diameter should be bigger. And also...
Okay, so I was not planning on recording this, but I just found out something interesting. Look at this. If I test the engine with 5 psi of pressure, this happens. Okay, we've seen that. Nothing new about that. But look at this. If I change the angle of attack, the angle of the inlet of the air, it gets more power. Look. You see that?
So once more I opted on my 3D modeling mistress and I made some changes. I made the inlet bigger and gave it an angle.
Okay, the engine is ready. Let's give it another go to see if this time I can make it move. With my lungs.
With my lungs I was able to spin the engine at 3200 RPM, which I would say is not bad at all.
Anyway, you know what's the problem with this engine? You can't see inside. You don't see what's happening. So I'm gonna try to make acrylic lid with, well, acrylic.
No more sunny days, no more sunny days. I got a heart that won't behave. I got a mind gonna make me insane. No more sunny days, no more sunny days.
Did I? Yep. It went through the table, through the mat, and through the table. Shut up.
You got a black cloud over your head. You're looking spit, gotta get you to bed.
So, this engine works like this. The air comes through here and pushes the rotor. The rotor moves and starts compressing the air on this chamber here, which is not desirable, so I opened the passage from this chamber to the next one. Which means that instead of compressing the air, this movement pushes the air into the next chamber and subsequently pushes the rotor again. After that the air gets exhausted, because it did so much work.
Comedy.
Okay, the engine runs smoothly and fast, but does it have strength? Well, I didn't know, so I tried to use it to lift something, and in this case the something was a banana. I lifted a banana.
Jump, banana! 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 Oh shit.
Okay, the engine runs smoothly, is fast, and has banana levels of strength, which leads me to a very obvious conclusion. I should probably 3D print a propeller.
And print I did. I 3D printed a red propeller and glued it to the engine. Also, instead of using compressed air, I used a CO2 cartridge.
So, this is a CO2 cartridge, which is basically like a mini fire extinguisher. It's just a cylinder made of metal that has very high pressure gas in it. In this case, the gas is CO2, and the pressure is about 49 to 50 bar if I'm not mistaken. And if you're American, that's a lot.
So using a full release valve, I attached the CO2 cartridge to the engine and gave it a go.
3, 2, 1, okay. Oh, that's so cool. Did you see that? The vapor coming off? Look at that. Wait, it's gone? Just like that? Oh. I want to try it again. Oh, it's so cold. In 3, 2, 1. That's so cool. Oh! Look! It's solid. It's solid. Look, it's dry ice. Okay, so the CO2 is coming out of the cartridge in the solid form, which is not ideal. I'm guessing the next step is finding a way to take full advantage of the insane pressure inside this little guy. Another good idea would be to find an application for this engine that doesn't involve lifting bananas. If you guys have suggestions, I'm all ears. Designing and testing this engine was a lot of fun, and for that reason I'm making the 3D files for the engine available on the description of the video. To 3D print this engine, you need a 3D printer, and I'm well aware that a lot of you guys don't have a 3D printer to replicate these projects. For that reason, on my last video I gave away a 3D printer to the most liked comment suggesting a theme for a future video. The winner was Fabrizio Blasio, and he suggested that I should get one of my rockets into space. I like that. If you also want to win a 3D printer, all you need to do is subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, and post a comment suggesting a theme for a future video. The most liked comment will receive a brand new 3D printer. Well, this is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, tomatoes are disgusting. See ya!
No more sunny days.